Hi, and welcome to A Punk with Toys. My name is Lawrence, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Super 7 G.I. Joe, A Real American Hero, the Python Patrol Bat. This is the Reaction Plus, and yes, I know you guys just recently saw me do the Duke, but this one is going to be the actual bat. I do think it looks better. I have not seen the other bat in person, so I haven't picked it up or even had a chance to look at it to decide if it's something that I wanted. But we are going to take a look at this, and I will compare it to the original bat, see if the accessories fit, and I'll even compare it to the Reaction normal 5 POA, which is actually more than 5 POA on that one, and see if the accessories are swappable, because I'm sure a lot of people might be wondering this. It's not something that I usually pick up. I do have an O-ring room, as you can tell, and I am in a different location. Like I said, the O-ring room, and it's just because where I've been doing all my reviews is really set up for 6-inch stuff. So I figured, you know what, maybe I'll try it down here, see how it works, see if the sound is decent. I can already tell there's a little bit of issue with the lighting, as the lights are behind me rather than in front of me, but we'll see how this goes, because you really don't need to see me. But anyway, here is the Python Patrol Bat. I don't think it looks bad, and again, I do know that I mentioned a few things about the Duke and how the faces are painted, and this is completely different because, once again, this is what you're looking at, that it's a helmet, so it's supposed to be painted. All right, you got the explosion in the back, you got the Python Patrol, and again, this is something that was never done in the O-ring, and this is what Super 7 has said they're going to do. Again, how I feel about Super 7 on certain things, I try and look at things as objectively as possible, and I like the idea of giving us stuff that we never had. So anyway, there is the aesthetic look to it. They give you the regular hole because they want this to be like the Real American Hero, and on the back you have the cross cell, and I'm perfectly fine with this cross cell. You have multiple figures in here, new figures. This is supposed to be a Target exclusive. You have the file card, not the 5L, which is 5 language. It's all in English. So I think you've listened to me ramble on long enough, and you probably do it on Monday nights, and you know how much I can ramble. So instead of that, let's just get into this figure. A couple comparisons. It really shouldn't take that long. But before we do, if you like this type of stuff, you want to see me do a few more O-ring stuff, a few more Super 7 Reaction Plus, please take a second, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell notification so you're notified every time I drop something like this. Alright, so here he is, and if you're new to the channel, I always like to go over the accessories first, then we'll go over the figure. So, the first thing you're going to have is this MP5. Now, I have mentioned before, one of my issues with the Super 7 stuff is it seems way out of scale. This gun seems very, very large, as this is the original size of Stalker's gun. This submachine gun, as you can see, it doesn't seem to really fit. Plus, the handle seems way too big that you would be able to snap it, or you'd snap off a thumb on the originals. Here is the same rifle that came with ripcord. And again, this is a long rifle, and this thing it just doesn't seem to fit. And we've seen this with a few of the other ones, including like this big thing. Again, that's on the Reaction, not the Reaction Plus. So, but looking at this, I do think it looks decent. This is the same thing that you got with the Super 7 Ultimate. All right, you don't have a removable magazine, which I wouldn't expect. No trigger even on this. You do have your barrel. You have your iron sight right there. And then you have what looks like a collapsible stock. Not a lot of detail in this. As a matter of fact, this is very, in my opinion, Dollar General-esque that you would actually see. All right. Now you're going to have this is the flamethrower. All right. And you can see the little peg right there. All right. And this actually looks like, it almost looks like you could put some sort of blast effect in there. I don't know I don't know if it actually has one or not, but it definitely looks like you could. A little bit of a design here. It almost looks like this is supposed to peel down, but this looks more like a gun than a flamethrower. The original one is a flamethrower. Now, I don't have that one, unfortunately. At least not on my original, so I can't compare it to that. But it's all in black. Again, doesn't look bad at all. This is the actual laser gun. looks very similar. And once again, it looks like it has a spot for a blast effect. And you can see the way it just kind of curls around to create that different style look there. So, doesn't look bad. It's not soft, so no problem there. And then you have your claw. All right, now I'm very interested to see if these fit on either one of these figures. So we'll take a look in a second. Again, detail isn't the greatest, but it's there. This looks like it's, I always thought this was like some sort of saw, or maybe just something they could, you know, smash into something. All right. So now we're going to take a look at the actual bat. Here's his backpack. So the backpack does come off. All right. So you got a little bit of electronics right there. Now this is something perfect that if you want to customize and you just want to hit a little bit of paint. I mean, they're giving you black, yellow, gray, red. So many colors that you could work with this if you wanted to customize. All right. So you just got a little bit of design right here. And we'll compare it to the original one in a second. And then as for the actual bat, so I don't think this feels bad at all. These all feel much lighter or more hollow. I don't know how to say it. Just not. They don't seem to be the same quality as the O-rings, the original O-rings. And I know people can say, "Hey, it's been 30 plus years," and I agree with that. So you have the red face. You got a nice little paint right there. That's supposed to be there from. Oh, I guess it's not. What is that? How was that from? I thought that was part of the vent. Because isn't this guy? Oh, you know, I might be thinking about the classified. The classified has like a little vent, I think, on the side. Anyway, paint looks good here. All right. You just have the nice little mohawk. You have the three little vents on either side right there. You do have a head that just twists back and forth. This here is where you really see where it would have been nice had they done something like that. All right. This was always one of the most special things, and I think they probably could have done something like that. But either way, you just have like this big chest piece that's sticking out. They did paint a little bit of it, so it kind of looks like there's some electronics going. You got 2 hand grenades. They did paint the belt buckle, which I think is nice, but why not paint something? I mean, if you spent time to paint that, why not? I don't know. I gotta stop asking questions when it comes to Super 7. You got the nice yellow collar that runs right around here. And even down here, even back here, they painted the buckle. So I think that looks really nice there. And even here on the belt, they did give you some belt buckles. Unfortunately, it looks like the paint just kind of just rubbed right over. That's what you expect from Super 7. This arm is loose. I mean, I literally just opened it. You got the Cobra symbol here. You got the rolled up sleeves. You got the mechanical arms just kind of running right down there. Nothing here. Rivets on the outside. Then they're riveted on the inside, and that's how O-rings are supposed to be. You get the belt buckle that's painted, and then you get to your Python gray, which I think it does look pretty good. The paint around the leg looks decent enough, I guess you could say. It does bleed over onto whatever this device is. Again, if you know anything about Super 7, not the greatest with their paint. Usually, the reaction figures are actually really nice. You got the yellow going right down here. So this is actually your drop-down holster. So it is being held. You got a painted pistol there. You got the boots, little pouch right here on the side. So it doesn't look bad. As for the articulation, he can turn side to side. T-pose is perfectly fine there. And then it's going to swivel around. All right. There is where your swivel arm battle grip is. Okay, you get your 90 degree right there. Swivel back and forth. Here's your O-ring. There's your Jean-Claude Van Damme. But we're really concerned about how they sit like this because you want to sit them in vehicles. And then you have about a 90 degree leg bend right there, okay? Now, as for everything that he does come with, you have the backpack. I could not have shot that out of my finger on accident and knocked over Airborne any better. And we're going to take these, and how well do they just kind of plug right in there? So, no issues here, the way they plug in. All right. And then we can take the giant MP5, which is actually loose on them. Now, luckily for this guy, because both hands are meant to be interchangeable, unlike the original bat, which only can be one. Sorry, I lost that gun and trying not to step on it. All right, so there's the gun. So as I was trying to say, God, I almost lost it again. So I mentioned on the last video that I did is that when you have articulated wrists, like you do with Delta 17 or any of the modern O-rings, you can turn it and actually hold the guns a little bit better. Now, as much as I made fun of this gun, it doesn't even fit in his hand. So maybe we'll try the left hand, and it's still loose. Can I even fit it in the O-ring? We'll be very careful about this. Actually, wow. I thought this handle was too big, but it's actually very small. Wow, this actually fits. Wow, I would have never guessed that because I thought the handle, the grip, looked way too small. But you want to talk about being very deceiving because I think it's so thin. But if I take this over here, I guess it fits a little bit better. Anyway, you've wasted enough time watching me do that. So, if we want to swap this out, we swap that hand out. We can throw this bad boy on here. And then we can pop this one off and throw the claw on, right? So, doesn't look bad at all. All right, you got a little chomper right here. Here you have your flamethrower. Now, here's the reaction. Now, the first thing I'll show you is you look at that size, and that does not fit. Now, I will ask the question that I've been asking, why would you not have made this fit with the O-rings? I want to take this off here. Oof, man. It fits, but it is very tight. Like, it wants to push out. Which means if I probably pop this on here, this is exactly the issue. This is the problem with Super 7. Like, why would you not universalize this stuff? Like, I mean, seriously, they did it how long ago for you? All right. So, the two foot pads, the foot holes, you can see the size different right there. Between the Reaction Plus, the Reaction and the Reaction Plus, there's the difference right there. So, you can probably guess that these won't fit because they made a different attachment. So this here, you actually plug something in there. So this would have been great. Oh, hey, look at that. This thing's going to come off. The frustration with these. Wow. Seriously, there's so much frustration with these. There you go. Yep. You guys saw exactly. I didn't really do anything. So you cannot use these weapons or the back pegs with this. Nor can you put one of these figures on an actual G.I. Joe O-ring stand. And here, I can't really get this on here. But the question is going to be, can I interchange the hands? And yes, you can. Now, it is a tight fit. So tight that I'm scared that... So scared that I'm going to break the peg off here. So you can make it work, but this is the best bat that I have. So I'm not going to risk ruining this. God, I don't... This is easy shit to take care of, Super 7. Honest to God, like, the stuff is 30 plus years old. You're going to tell me you can't universalize this? And I'll talk about it at the end, so stick around, because I know people are going to say, well, this isn't the same line. It's supposed to be, okay? So anyway, to quickly look at everything, I'll pop this off here. All right, so this is the actual laser gun. Now, I really don't even have a problem with them changing it up a bit. Matter of fact, I think this one probably looks better. It's sleeker, it's thinner. It doesn't have as much design on it, if you can believe that something new doesn't have as much design as something from 30 years ago. There's your claw. And then you can look at this claw, and again, it's like Super 7 doesn't even try. And they don't. I just saw a video with Mad Hatter. Same thing. Anyway, how does this thing stack up? Well, first off, we'll take a look at there are two heads, all right? And these are not the same head sculpts. Very similar, but the reaction one sticks out way more. This one does not stick out nearly as much, all right? As for the O-ring, it has the same design. They give them two different grenades here. Here's one grenade. And I know before someone says, well, you complained about that. Those aren't being painted. Again, I'm comparing figures that are years apart, which is aggravating when something like this looks better than this. And I know there's a lot of factors to it. All right, so you have the same chest piece. You have the same similar arms up there. You looked at the helmets, very similar. All right, same with the back pieces here. You still have the drop-down holster. Look at the design on the Hasbro one. Now they did make it. They didn't make the boots, the top piece, go all the way around, which they didn't here. And then even over here, you can see the difference. Again, trying to recreate it, but in my opinion, Super 7 doing a super poor job. That's what they do. So anyway, there you go. I don't know what else there is to say. You can stand this figure. All right. So there's how he stands. And quickly, let's do a size comparison. So there's a little size comparison right there. You can see these are 3.75. And you might ask, why are you bothering to do this? Well, if you don't know, the reaction figure is about 4 inches tall. It is taller, and I really have no problem with that. I would have had a problem had they made the bats a little bit taller. I don't think every single figure in a line has to be the same. This Ramar right here, when I get around to reviewing him, we're going to talk about the size, and it's nice that they made him bigger. They could have done the same thing with the bat. Doesn't have to be huge, but can be a little bit taller. All right, so there you have it. That is the Super 7 Reaction Plus G.I. Joe, a real American hero, Cobra Python Patrol Bat. That was a mouthful. All right, so what do I think? I like the idea that Super 7 wants to do figures that we never had before. Kudos, because you know what? We don't need to see the exact same ones. Now, I can also say, you know, when I said, hey, you know what, they're doing Snake Eyes as Cobra Commander, people could say, yeah, but they're doing the cartoon. All right, you want to say they're doing Sunbow or whatever, that's perfectly fine. And I understand you need to have Snake Eyes, even though they've already done it twice. You're looking at something like this, all right? Why can't you make the backpack universal? Now, I reviewed the Duke, and the backpack from Duke, the O-ring, the original O-ring, 1983-84, fit onto it. But on this one, they don't fit. So they're not using a universal size hole right there for the screw. Why is that? The accessories. This is a perfect chance for you to make it so they fit the same size, where people that have a bat like I do and they're missing an accessory can buy a $25 figure. Probably a little overpriced, but whatever. This is showing that reaction, or the reaction 5 POA overpriced, because these are O-rings and there's more construction to them, right? This is a perfect time that, hey, you know what? You need something for your collection. Well, guess what? We're going to make this, and all you have to do is buy an extra one or buy just one, and then you can complete your actual O-ring, your original, right, for your own collection. They screw that up too, all right? Here is where I look at the MP5, right? And I thought that it was too big and it was going to break their thumbs. Come to find out, the grip is so thin, they can't even hold it. I know people get mad and they say, "Oh, right, why would you buy it?" I buy it because this is something unique. There's never been a Python Patrol bat. I don't think the bat sculpt looks bad per se, but I'm still reviewing it and looking at everything, and I'm going, so many things that you could have fixed or that you didn't have to break. How about that one? There's already some issues with the O-ring line. And people say, why would you compare them to Delta 17? I'm only comparing them to Delta 17, which I have a whole bunch right here. I'm going to put this down right now. And someone asked, well, they're two different lines. They're completely different. It's because everyone, other than Hasbro, who when they do their O-ring, and Super 7, they have this articulated wrist. It changes articulation completely when it comes to the O-ring figures, right? This is what you want. Now, people can sit there and say, well, that's not what the original had. Well, there was a progression. They also didn't have swivel arm battle grip. They added swivel arm battle grip. They didn't have necks that bent down. They changed it. Why is this not in a net peg? Why does this neck not bend down? It makes absolutely no sense. All right? The bat, it's on a ball, right? So you can't even say that you're recreating it because it's on a ball. They could do this 35 years ago, but Super 7 can't seem to figure this shit out. I know, I try not to swear except when I get angry. And this is the type of stuff that angers people. All right? This is $20. A bigger company. And then you have someone like Delta 17 that's charging $25. Skeletron, they charge $25. Smaller companies, they can get it right. They can put the articulated wrists in, which changes everything. I don't know what else to say. I want to add to my O-ring. I want to add to this G.I. Joe line, this collection. Again, I know I've been accused by people of being just some classified collector, but as you can tell, I'm sitting here in a room that is full of 1/18 scale figures. And I want other Joes to go with it. And I'm willing to spend the $20 for it. Or hell, the $25 if you did it right. This is a decent figure. But there are so many marks that are missed. So many. And when it constantly comes from a company like Super 7, you don't believe me? Go ahead, jump over to Mad Hatter. You know what? I'm going to post a link to Mad Hatter's video, and it's about the Chitara, the Super 7 Chitara, the deluxe one. And he talks about this is a cat. The exact same argument that I had when I did my review of the Chitara Super 7, the Ultimate, it's the same figure for the most part. They didn't change the articulation. This is the same thing. Like, you just do so much wrong when everything is there. Every company has shown you how to do things better, but you refuse to. I don't know if it's a Brian Flynn thing. Sure seems like it. He's the head of it. I've rambled on way too long, and I apologize, but thank you anyone that's still listening. You can see I still have one Super 7 to do. It's like a 5-inch figure, because he's supposed to be bigger. I want to get the Fatal Fluffy. Haven't seen it yet. Makes me wonder. I wanted to get the other bat. Makes me wonder. I already have a sour taste with Super 7. People have seen my ultimate reviews, the few that I've done, and you know my anger with those. The reaction, same thing. There's been lies that come out of this company. So you know what? Part of this is on me for actually buying this. So anyway, I'm going to get out of here. But please, thank you for sticking around this long. Take a second, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell notification so you're notified every time I drop a shitty Super 7. there won't be that many. I know I say that and then I'll buy a few more. I want to like this. And it'll be fine in my display, but it could be better. It should be better. They've already shown it. Okay, enough. Anyway, what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave you the Super 7 Reaction Plus Duke right here, and down here will be a playlist of some sort of 1/18 scale stuff that I've done. Take care.